Oppa Gundam style, everyone, and welcome to Wow Cool Robot. I am your co-host for the duration of Wing, Jared or Jay, and I use he and them pronouns.
I'm Julia. I am the second of 3 co-hosts. That's how numbers work. I use she and her pronouns.
I'm Max. I'm the fucking ringleader of this circus of fools, and I use he and him pronouns.
Hell yeah, welcome back, everybody.
It's been a while but for you and for us, because we did take a break, because sometimes you don't have to make
Nickelback
a fucking...
joke.
You don't have to make content every single week of your life.
It is nice sometimes to not do a thing.
Sometimes
that's
it's nice
okay.
to just chill.
Yeah.
I highly recommend everyone try it
out
sometime.
of town in some way, shape, or form, so that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
God, that was just only like 2 weekends ago. God dang. Feels forever ago. Time is fake.
You're so goddamn right.
But Gundam is real.
Ish?
Ish. It's real in my heart. I'm kind of
Okay,
surprised they never
that.
made
I'll give you
a
that.
wing.
It's real and strong, and it is, in fact, my friend.
It's exactly. I'm kind of surprised they haven't made a real life Wing Gundam yet, honestly.
I kind of agree, but it's also probably one of the less popular, series as a whole.
Yeah, I think that's probably part of the
That's
reason,
true.
for
It's
sure.
way less popular in Japan than it is.
I think, yeah, that's absolutely part of it. I think the other part of it is the fact that it's kind of dated, but it's dated in a way that kind of makes it boring. Where G Gundam's dated, but it's also got that flair and feeling of 70s, 80s anime, like Akira and stuff like that, where it's the animation's very interesting to watch when there's obviously stuff happening. There's a lot of still frames, but that's true of just about any anime. But yeah, Gundam Wing is there's a lot of repetition, as we've already noticed, and it doesn't necessarily get much better.
I'm still enjoying it. I'm still having a good time. There's still enough twists and turns.
Yeah, we've got the life size Unicorn Gundam. We've got the life size RX-78 and the Freedom Gundam, right?
Yeah, so they made an RX-78 too. That one was taken down, and I think it's in pieces, where it was or where the Unicorn is now. Then they made the Unicorn. Then I think they finished the Freedom in China right before they finished the current RX-78, which is its own variant. True. And the next one they're building is a variant of the new Gundam in an airport in Japan. I think in Fukuoka.
Oh, the Freedom's a cool little suit. I like that.
Yeah, Freedom's like an AU suit. Freedom's from Seed Destiny, or maybe just Seed. But
Destiny.
It's from
Yep.
Yeah, it's not from UC, which is interesting enough. I guess that's the biggest non-UC AU, so it makes sense for them to do that.
Yeah.
But I think they said that they were going to build one in America eventually. I would like that.
I would road trip.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
absolutely.
surprised if they made it like the Barbatos, considering how fucking popular IBO is in America, even though it was not popular at all in Japan.
Yeah, that'd be really good, actually.
I think
Barbie's
it'd be
fucking
quite nice.
sick as hell.
It
a
is a
sick
really
as hell
cool
movie.
fucking suit.
club.
Yeah,
It's nice. My master grade's going to come in a couple days. I'm very
Hell
excited
yeah.
for it.
I will refrain from saying anything else about the Barbatos.
Yeah, let's talk about different Gundams instead.
All right, Gundam Wing. Let's get into
Wing.
it.
Let's fucking go.
Oh, you mean the show we're watching?
The show
that's
that
fair.
I watched over a week ago and did not watch refresher episodes of.
Tremendous.
It's
We're
gonna
kind
be-
of wading back into this pool
gonna
without
be great.
floaties.
Do we remember
gonna
what
be
order
fun.
we're doing this in?
I know that I'm doing the second episode.
I'm doing the first, if I remember
Okay, cool.
correctly.
Yeah,
I
I'm
asked
doing
the question
last
and then I
episode.
remembered.
Gaining knowledge.
Episode 13. Catherine's Tears. Zex returns to the Lake Victoria base where he meets 2 of Noing's former students and he agrees to join them on a military offensive. But Zex is forced to kill them when they reveal their merciless attitudes towards war. Meanwhile, Showa uses his Gundam to attack an Oz base, planning to self-destruct afterwards. But Catherine, his knife-throwing friend, girlfriend, mother, it's confusing, forces Showa to realize the value of his own life.
Yeah.
I like Catherine.
I
She's
enjoy
nice.
Catherine. She's basically these boys' moms at this point.
So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think Gundam Wing might be, largely speaking, the nicest to women characters in it. Just in terms of
bar's
like
low.
them...
Yeah, that's not.
No, exactly. It's so low that they just kind of stepped over it. There are some moments that are not great, but I think first of all, there's just
everything.
There's just a larger amount of like overall female characters that get screen time, which I don't think we've really seen in a while. Like, what was it? G Gundam had Rain throughout, and then like Nastasha and Allenby, and that was kind of it.
That's kind of it, yeah.
0079, I'll give some credit to, because it really was a ragtag crew. There's like Frau, Mirai, and we ended up getting like Beltachika and that one redhead lady Amuro had a crush on who died immediately.
Fucking Matilda.
Yeah, so there's like, and obviously, sorry, the mother of all mothers, Lala Sun, or Sune, depending on pronunciation. But yeah, this series has a lot of female characters that like have characterization and like decent characterization at that. So it's good. It's good to see it, and I like Catherine a lot. She's a really good foil for Troa.
Yes. That's the thing. Like, I feel like a lot of the female characters in the show sort of exist to, like, be, like, the more reasonable half of, like, everyone else who's just kind of a fucking idiot most of the time.
They're doing their best.
Kind of, yeah.
Damnedest. More so Catherine to Troa, and much more so Relina to Hero. I mean, Relina's kind of batshit in her own special way, but, you know, we like her.
Yeah, she's the Joker to Hero's Batman.
No, she's the Joker to Hero's Joker.
I actually, honestly, I would argue she is probably the Batman to Hero's Batman.
God.
I'm not actually making an argument for that. I've kind of lost the plot here.
Hey, enough people watch Gundam that someone will make that argument. This one starts out with Zex is training with his boys. He's just like dropping the tall geese out of the shuttle, and they're just like trying to basically kill him the entire time.
Yeah, they're like launching anti-aircraft missiles at him, and he's like, fucking try me.
And it's live ammunition too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is absolutely crazy. Also,
to
put
be
the
fair,
tall geese in Fortnite.
Where we drop in to Orange Justice. God, like he charges the base. He dodges the missiles. He stops at like the very last moment with the beam saber right before he would cut it. Like, it kind of makes sense. I mean, it's a very Zex move to be like, yeah, shoot me. If I die, whatever. I wasn't worthy enough for the tall geese.
Yep,
it's like, right. All right, dude, whatever.
That's his whole fucking vibe.
Yeah, it's absolutely coming from a place of like, if my life is not in peril, I'm not going to be giving it my absolute all.
I can't live if I'm not on the edge.
And he's so clean with it. It's so nice. It's so good to just see the tall geese like moving and in action.
Mm-hmm. I like my fun friend Miliardo.
It's a good suit.
He's like, they say he's conquered the tall geese monster, and he kind of notes to one of his...
very proud of him being in the suit without dying. That's basically what he's done at this point. I don't think I would consider him having conquered or mastered the suit as they seem to think he has, but we'll give him that.
Admittedly, last time he was in the suit, he did get a heart attack.
He did almost die, and this time he did not. So there's forward progress at the very least.
Congratulations, right. You didn't die. Yay.
I'm proud of you.
And then I think we skip down to the two people assaulting
we jump straight to the Alliance
right?
base.
Cool. So it's a cancer suit, and they're coordinating really heavily with an Ares suit.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Max.
These are war crime boys.
I hate these boys so goddamn much.
These are straight up war criminals. They're war criminals and not in the fun way like Treize is.
No. So they are attacking this base, and the Alliance members who are there radio them to surrender. And instead, these sweet, good, wonderful war crime idiots kill them all anyway. Oops.
Yeah. And I think we get their names. There's Alex, who I think is the blonde one.
Alex is the blonde crab man, yes.
Yeah, and then
Mueller, who is the Ares pilot. Mueller's got the fresh-ass haircut, too. His hair is fashionable in 2021. They
have like very
he's got the shaved sides, it's long on top.
Character designs that are not what I would have expected out of like in and outside characters,
Yeah.
especially for an anime of this time.
Yeah, and their main thing is, like, they both have, like, big old cool glasses.
Yeah.
They're matching. They're
Yeah.
buddies. They're evil, but they're buddies.
They're friends.
Friends, derogatory.
Yeah, God. After they blow this shit up, we see them head back over to Lake Victoria base, hoping to get some more supplies and troops. Lo and behold, though, when they arrive there are no troops but Zex. Like we said, Zex was the only soldier there. The training operation has been moved out of Lake Victoria. But Zex does something kind of interesting and actually agrees to kind of join up with the two of them as their subordinate, even though he outranks them both.
It's weird. It very much feels like Zex is like, okay, boys, I'll go along with your silly little plan.
Yeah, he's like, let's see what's going to happen.
I really don't know why he did that.
It makes
Like,
zero sense to me.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Part of me...
Like, especially with what happens in just a little bit. Like, he can't kind of pull rank on them.
I mean, honestly, part of me thinks that he might actively be using this as a situation to kind of, like, take out more problematic people who might get in his way.
I don't think he didn't seem to be so negative on them immediately for me to think that was already a plan, but it could have been.
Yeah,
He's
he
just
does seem
kind of like,
surprised
these
by
were-
their actions.
Yeah, he's like, these were Noin students. Maybe I just, want to see what she's cultivated or something along those lines.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or probably also a bit of it is like he just wants to be able to fight.
I think he just wants to fight at the end of the day. Yeah, he just wants to go.
That's probably true.
Be in the tall geese and be doing something rather than sitting around at the base like he would otherwise have been doing.
I mean, if I had the tall geese, I would probably rather be sitting in the tall geese than not. So
You're
he got me
so
there.
right.
Yeah.
So we cut to Alex and Mueller. They're sorting in Mogadishu now. They're at this like weird alliance base that like is by a river or like on an island in a river, something like that. It's like weirdly tall, and they have a thing called the Noventa cannon. Do you think it means anything that this very, very powerful weapon of destruction is named after the peaceful leader? What could it mean?
Yeah, I don't know why the hell they decided to do that. They were just like, yeah, as a military honor, we're naming this cannon after Noventa, the guy who wanted disarmament and peace around the world.
He would have loved
this cannon.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we find out that Alex and Mueller are like going for the stealth approach, and they're like, Zex is gonna drop in out of the sky and draw everyone's attention. So they're literally just using Zex as a decoy.
Presumably not realizing that once he's in the tall geese, I don't think he can die.
Yeah, one,
basically.
he can't die, and two, he's going to kill everything that's thrown at him.
Yeah. He just drops in, and they immediately fire the Noventa cannon on the tall geese. And I liked this part a lot because they did use a bunch of Dragon Ball Z sound effects.
They kind of did, didn't they?
Yeah. And when like the smoke is cleared, tall geese flies through, and it's very much an I lived bitch type moment.
Yep.
And then Zex just
They
goes
actually got him.
absolutely sicko mode. He like starts annihilating stuff on the base, and he forces a surrender basically before Alex and Mueller really do much damage.
Yeah,
It's like-
this is before they even reveal themselves. I think that they get the surrender out of the Alliance members, and then they kind of pop out and start attacking regardless, and Zex is saying, what the fuck?
Yeah,
He calls them vulgar.
Zex specifically calls for them to surrender, and they're like, yes, okay, we surrender. And then Alex and Mueller start attacking, and Zex freaks out. And
Understandably.
he does a lot of stuff. He starts like kind of fighting back, and Alex and Mueller are like, oh, we're gonna like shut you down and take you out. Zex takes out Mueller like pretty quickly, but even then, like, I think he gets knocked underwater to fight Alex in his cancer, which isn't an intentional choice. He ends up being kind of like outmaneuvered in the water a little bit, but he does get like blasted and then use the explosion to like pull up on Alex and literally just rip him and his cancer in
so
half.
cool.
Oh, he's
God
having
damn
some
it.
crab legs.
Yeah, I think I took a screenshot of that moment when he called them fools and sent that in the recording chat.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's
so
like
speaking of that, actually, that specific moment,
Yes.
this episode has some of the best animation and art that we've seen so far in the show. It's just, it almost feels separate to it. Like there's just some like
Yeah.
gorgeous watercolors that are happening. It's very interesting.
Which is
Yeah,
weird
and
because
there's- Go ahead, Max.
I was gonna say it mostly feels like it could be filler. Like
Yeah, like
Kind
this
of.
episode does not further the main plot at all, and they put some what looks like serious money into the art for this episode.
Yeah,
surprising.
I think it serves to develop Zex a little bit more because
Yeah.
he obviously like wants to be on the battlefield, and so we get some of that. And this is kind of him maybe forming some of his own ideals. Like there's this really beautiful like close-up shot of his eyes in the mask.
Yes.
And one of the lines he says is, "These men have no right to be given any power." It's sick as hell.
it's good. Like, and yeah, he has this like inner monologue. He's like, "Oh, war makes everyone crazy." And that's obviously an oversimplification of it. But he later files a report on Alex and Mueller to give to Noin. And the main message, he's like, yeah, don't only focus on battle technique. Maybe you should focus on making sure that your soldiers are not psychopaths.
Yeah,
Just a
maybe
thought.
teach a little bit of morality, please.
Yeah, here's some C&C for you, Noin.
And then I don't remember the context for it really. I think it's after he files the report that we see in the background like of this hangar that he's in that the wing is being rebuilt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the
he's-
first visual we have on it. We kind of assume
Okay.
that's what Zex is doing. I think this is the first time we've seen it, though.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's like hung up in a hangar. It's still kind of in shambles, but it's like it kind of looks like the tall geese when we first saw it, where it's just kind of like hanging there with parts here and there.
It's like he even sees it and he kind of thinks to himself that he's no better than anyone else in war because like he's rebuilding the enemy's craft. He's sort of perpetuating
Yeah.
the violence here by allowing this death machine to continue existing.
That's what it is. Yeah. Then
Oh,
we get
Zex.
Troa time.
Yay! Yay! Back time for the circus.
This is
It's
I
so
like this
extra.
episode a lot. But this is probably one of my like favorite things that Troa does.
This is so fucking funny. I love this shit.
So Troa is like hanging out. They've got a circus show on an Oz base, as previously mentioned in a different episode. Oz is basically preparing to take the war into outer space. And Troa's big act ends up being, and I don't know, it's dark in the tent and everyone's like, ooh, what's going on? And I don't know how they have not seen it up to this point or how he got it in the tent without anyone noticing. Don't ask me the logistics of that. But
This
the heavy
fuck-all
arms is in
giant robot.
fact yeah, the heavy arms is in fact basically like the mast holding up this tent, and the lights turn on and reveal it, and everyone in the audience is like, ooh, what's going on? They're just like really interested and not terrified of this giant Gundam with a gun in its hand. And I think Catherine sees it and she's like, oh wow, this is really gonna be something, huh? Like to the ringleader.
Yeah, and then Troa starts fucking firing at the carriers flying away.
It's so
Everyone's like, oh shit, this is not part of the act. Oh
Hey,
gosh.
this one's not good.
He shoots out through the top of the tent, like
Yep.
at these carriers flying away. It's so like the tent starts coming down. People start scattering because there's a giant machine gun going off in front of them. It's so good.
At this point, Catherine starts freaking out too, and Troa gets his like knife arm out and is just like cutting mobile suits down. He's going after
Yeah.
the sort of like the main fuel tower of the space. He's like fully convinced this is his final mission. He's gonna die. He's gonna earn a warrior's death.
Catherine kind of sprints up to him at one point and just clocks the dude.
Yeah, it's so good because Catherine sees what's going on. She knows this is Troa's performance, and she thinks back to the first like real interaction she had with him where she was throwing knives at him and he did not flinch even though he got cut. And she's like, oh, he's planning to die.
Yep.
So she starts screaming at him, and for whatever reason, Troa decides to like bend down, and I think he's either like trying to get her out of the way or protect her from like something. But he does open the cockpit, and Catherine runs up into the cockpit and just absolutely decks him.
So good.
It fucking snaps him out of it.
Yeah,
He
and
basically
she
tells him he's a selfish idiot.
absolutely she scolds him for not thinking about those he would be leaving behind.
AKA her.
Or
Yeah.
Mostly her, yeah.
Yeah, and she's just crying in the cockpit as he's like kind of comforting her, still kind of in shock a little bit.
And we see Catherine's tears. There they are.
The tears of time.
They did the thing.
They did it. Episode roll credits. But before that, of course, the next
The
morning.
first good Gundam slap.
I mean,
I'm joking.
it's more of a
promise.
Gundam punch.
Yeah.
It's the next morning, and Hiro and Troa are driving away from the circus. They have the Gundam in tow. Troa talks to Hiro, and he's like, "Yeah, you probably wouldn't be able to like go through with it all." And Hiro just kind of like blows him off and just says some weird cryptic bullshit about the best way to live is to act on emotion. It's just whatever.
Right.
Just stop talking to Hiro at this point. He doesn't have anything good to say.
He doesn't.
The thing is I think it's actually a good line because, well, it kind of sucks because Hiro is like, act on your emotions, and Troa's like, all right, bet I'm gonna die.
Yeah,
which is
I did that,
not
dude.
Ostensibly not the right choice to make. And then Hiro's basically trying to like console Troa while also saying like what he did is the right thing because he followed his emotions and stopped his assault after getting hit by Catherine. So he's kind of like, you did what you did, and you made the right choice for yourself by choosing to live and choosing to carry on. But yeah, it is very much him just being like a cryptic little fucker.
That's
Here's
my
the
boy.
Here's the kind of guy who texts with like every single sentence having a leading ellipsis.
Oh,
Oh
God.
my god.
He just wants to sound so mysterious at all times. That's episode.
That is episode.
We do get one quick thing of Catherine talking to the
that's right.
ringleader being like, I know he'll come back one day.
Yeah, it's kind of sweet.
Yeah, it
Because
is.
the ringleader's like, I'm gonna miss that kid. He was a really good clown. And
Yeah, I'm gonna
Catherine's
miss
like,
that
Despite the
terrorist.
fact that he just destroyed your tent, buddy, whatever.
yeah, he does not give a shit. And then Catherine's like, well, like, you know, all parents let their kids grow up and move away, and they always come home to visit, right? And it's just kind of like, yeah, like, they're kind of Troa's family in a way, and Catherine's hopeful that, you know, maybe they'll get to see him again.
Probably. I feel like they wouldn't say that shit if they weren't gonna.
Yeah. Quick question. Is Burning Finger and Shining Finger technically a Gundam slap?
Ooh.
Huh.
Because it depends. I feel like it depends on the instance, because there's moments where he's like full on grabbing someone's head, but
Yeah.
you know, the hand to face contact is usually what he's going for.
I don't think that is, but I think the Sekiha Tenkyoken is.
Okay.
Because it leaves a big old handprint.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or a heart-shaped hole, depending.
Well, that was because it was the erupting burning finger Sekiha level of Tenkyoken. Very
Thank
important.
you.
Very, very important difference.
Very important distinction. Just needed to
Yes.
hear you say it.
Yeah. It's good. I liked it.
I think this moves us on to episode 14.
Correct. This is, as Jay said, episode 14. The Order to Destroy 01. Hiro is researching the Noventa family in order to meet them all and atone for killing Pappy Noventa, and he and Troa travel to Marseille to do so. Meanwhile, Relina and Noin travel to Bremen for a Romefeller Foundation banquet where they listen to Treize give a speech about how humanity must surpass the domain of God in order to secure a lasting peace for the world. Relina tries to explain to the attendees that the Gundams will take down their operation, but Noin shuffles her away. Afterwards, Treize is put under pressure by attendees regarding Zex's amount of freedom, so he orders Zex to destroy the wing he was rebuilding. Back in Marseille, a battle between Oz and the Stationed Alliance breaks out, and Hiro meets up with Sylvia Noventa in the chaos, as Troa gets in heavy arms to destroy any witnesses who may have seen his Gundam in the city. After the battle, Hiro gives Sylvia a gun, essentially asking her if he deserves to die. She spares him, so he and Troa will continue to Sicily to meet Mama Noventa. Finally, Zex destroys Wing with Romefeller witnesses, but is revealed that Wing actually had finished construction, and what he destroyed were merely Talgi spare parts. Fucking lot happens here.
This episode I had to focus really hard because it's very dense, and it's
Yes, there's a lot of
especially
disparate
the
parts.
Romefeller meeting.
It's like three things at once. It's crazy.
Yeah. Relatively handled well, but like, I don't know, the Romefeller stuff was like almost undigestible to me. My brain's not big enough for that shit.
I mean, I can boil all the Romefeller stuff down to Treize thinks he's better than God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
also,
The rest of them are just shitty rich folks too that just
Yeah.
think people aren't capable of like controlling their own lives.
This is also like maybe the one and only episode where we actually get details on what the Rockefeller Foundation is, and I thank the narrator very kindly for explaining it to my stupid little baby brain. But we also, I know we've already had Treize's trick, and now we get Zex's trick, and I like it a lot.
It's good.
Yes.
It's such a good little switcheroo.
Mm-hmm.
These next two
anyway.
I really enjoyed these episodes.
It's good.
Yeah.
We're in the library. Everyone needs to use their inner voices. Hero pops out a
Please
floppy
don't
disk.
ASMR me on this podcast. Thank you.
I would never. That's not my role here. Hero pops out a floppy disk that, like, I guess has like the information on where they need to go next or something.
Yeah.
His arm kind of locks up as he does so. So like this is when they're really starting to hammer home. Hey, Hero's injured right now. Important.
They only make reference to it like 3 or 4 times.
It's pretty bad.
Like a reminder.
And he has been basically on bed rest, like unconscious for an entire month too.
Yeah.
I mean, important to remember, he should be fucking dead right now.
True.
I mean, that's true multiple times over, but
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so Hiro and Troa go to visit Nana Roy at the library, and Hiro is furiously Googling the last name Noventa and trying not to follow a bunch of Spanish links. And
Yeah, right.
they get the information, like Max said, for basically where they need to go next. And then we get this really, really sick outfit for a different scene. We get Noin and Relina absolutely kitted the fuck out in the fanciest lad threads.
Yeah,
Relina just looks like a little lad. It's so
Holy
fucking
shit,
good.
Relina.
It's sick as fuck. It's such a good outfit for Relina specifically. Like, fuck Treize, fuck Zex, fuck Noin. They can wear whatever the hell they want, but like Relina wearing this hits so different.
It does.
It rules.
And then they get some really nice dialogue too about like why mobile suits are used for war, and like how about there's no formality when it comes to killing men, I think is what Noin says. But they're on a boat, like kind of coming upriver on this large estate for this Rockefeller meeting, and we see a couple like old Leos stationed just kind of along the edge of the water as well. And then we cut to the narrator dropping a lot of knowledge about the Rockefeller Foundation. Does anyone else want to sum this up?
I don't
think
even know if I wrote it down.
The quickest way of doing it is it's European royalty and aristocrats that are providing the money and funds and support for Oz.
Yeah,
To
it's
then
basically
turn around
like,
and control, but not actually having to do it themselves.
yeah, it's basically a boys' club for literal kings and queens, and they're just like, we wanted to secure our wealth, so we made we formed an alliance, haha, with each other, and they're just like, we'll all back each other up if needed. And so they just like pass money back and forth and use their massive amounts of wealth to fund death machines. So like literally all of these people suck shit.
Yeah, it's just fucking like, it's kind of what you'd expect. This kind of is like what Gundam deals with when they go to Double Zeta, like when they go down to Dublin, like all the fucking Federation elites are just like eating a fancy dinner as the world is ending.
It reminds me of the boardroom
what you'd
meeting
expect.
from Char's counterattack too, where it's all
Yeah.
these people see this as just business to protect their own interests and assets.
Yeah, making money.
Before they go inside, Noin does pat Relina down to make sure she doesn't have a gun stashed away, which
Hell
is
yeah.
it's such a cute little moment. And Relina's like, "No, I get it. I would if I had one."
Yeah. And she like mentions, hey, we're going into a banquet with like your father's killers are here. Can you act normal? She's
Be
like, yes,
be
I can
good
act
for
normal.
goddamn once.
Yeah.
And no, she can't. Spoiler alert.
Mm-mm.
We cut to the head of the Rockefeller Foundation, Duke Dermail,
Yep, Dermail.
giving a speech I think we made an allusion to earlier to how humanity requires some level of control, and the Rockefellers are here to exert that. And
Yeah,
really
despite all our
cool,
rage, humanity
great
is simply a
stuff.
rat in a cage.
God damn.
And then my notes just say, this is so dense, holy shit. So I don't really have much for a while.
I have a lot of this if we need it.
The first part, yeah, he says peace has to be secured with force. The Alliance couldn't effectively wield that, so we had to step in and kind of force the hand because we couldn't, we just couldn't trust the Alliance to hold peace because they wouldn't get their hands dirty like we're willing to, apparently. And like Noin, as he's talking, Noin leans over to Relina and is like, yeah, he's saying the quiet part out loud. Like, they've always been like this, but now they're just like saying it publicly.
Yeah,
she does kind of push back a little bit about questioning the power that they actually have due to all of the chaos that the Gundams are causing. And Noin kind of fills Relina in. I guess maybe she didn't have this information at this point, but that they've not been doing anything. The Gundams are kind of out of commission since they had threatened the colonies a couple of episodes back.
Yeah, it's a lot of time has passed, and it seems like after Noin kind of took Relina into custody, maybe they were just kind of hiding out for a while. And
that makes the most sense.
Relina's just been kind of out of touch with the media as a result. That's the one thing that I could probably think of, really. But again, it's another of a million things that happens off screen. And we see Treize as a member of the Romefeller Foundation. I think he goes up to the microphone, right?
Yep.
And then he says a bunch of bullshit. And I think this is one of the lines that I put in the Wow Cool Robot promo, where Treize is like, I'm sure God would understand the steps we're taking.
Yep.
It's like, dude, fuck off.
Like, this is like the thing for me that made me go like, maybe Treize isn't all there.
This is one of the scariest things Treize has said so far.
Oh, by far.
Yeah. And this pisses Relina off. So she just like runs up on stage, grabs the microphone.
But right before that, Noin is like, we should probably bounce, and looks down to where Relina just was, and she is gone. There's a
Relina-shaped smoke cloud.
Yeah, it is a really good gag, yeah. I don't know if it's meant to be read as a gag, but it is very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Relina says a bunch of shit about, like, the Gundams are gonna make these people pay for, what they've done, or whatever the hell she actually says.
Yeah, she just, like, puts her lips on the mic and is like, Gundam's gonna get your asses, and, like, Noin puts the fucking shepherd's crook and yanks her off stage.
Yeah, and then Treize is, like, staring Relina down, and he's like, I recognize that look in her eyes. And it's like, do you? Where have you seen it before? Was it perhaps another Gundam pilot? Yeah, it's like this fierce determination, and it is like the one thing that Treize and Zex have seen from the Gundam pilots they've encountered.
One of the notable parts about after Relina gets on stage is when Noin leans over to her and says, words aren't going to do a damn thing here. Like, and you can say whatever you want to these people, but they're just like completely... I'm looking directly in the camera for this, by the way. They're completely set in their ways, and whatever you say to them won't change. You need to do physical action to get people to change their minds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then Durmail, the head of Romefeller, kind of talks to Treize after all of this has been kind of set aside, and he says that too much freedom has been given to Zex, and Durmail specifically thinks they should annihilate the remaining parts of the 01 because there are rumors that Zex is rebuilding it. And that, boy howdy, does bad gas travels fast in a small fucking town. Because somehow this is like the first time we're really hearing of it, but everyone knows already that Zex is doing this. But I really like that we do get a moment, we cut over to Zex kind of in the hangar, I believe, and Noin is already
Noin now.
Yeah, Noin is already filling him in. Like, yeah, they want you to fucking blow it up.
And he's like, how much does Relina know? And Noin's like, I told Relina absolutely everything.
Yeah, it's
Which
so
I think
good.
is absolutely for the best.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. She would have found it out one way or another.
Yeah.
They do kind of talk about Relina's connection to Zex and also her connection to Hiro, because I think Noin fills Zex in like, oh yeah, by the way, she knows the Gundam pilot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like, all this fills Zex in, and as they get off the call, Noin's like, hey, by the way, maybe fucking tell your sister more about you. Bye.
Gotta go.
I'd very much like to see them actually meet.
Yeah, it'd be very good to see. We get some like weird little moments. It's like raining and Relina is angry as all hell, and Treize does some weird shit with wine and says more weird shit about God. And then the narrator tells us actually some more about the Noventa family. I think specifically Marshal Noventa. And we are introduced then to Sylvia Noventa as the next scene takes place.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. But I think before that, before we see Sylvia, Relina is, I guess, like, still in Bremen. I don't know if she's in the banquet hall. She's like somewhere there, like resting up. And she kind of looks outside and she wishes that like she could burn down the castle that has like all of the Romefeller guys in it. But she's like, no, God would never forgive me for doing that. And we get a little animal. Yeah, and it's like she's thinking about how God's never going to forgive her. And then we cut to Treize and thinking like, oh, I might be punished by my profanity to God. And then he says some fucking like Reddit epic atheism about God being fake, but he still needs to find an appropriate punishment for his actions. I can't with this guy.
I thought
Treize
this was your
pleading
favorite boy.
Eyes, punish me, daddy.
Oh, he is, but he's my wonderful son who tests me so much.
Valid.
Oh, God.
Jumping back to Sylvia Noventa, and the scene that contains her, an Alliance officer walks up to her, kind of saying, hey, we should get out. We think Oz is coming to attack, which she declines, saying she can't let go of her grandfather yet, and that we kind of have to stay here, and she wants to, be in their area, in their space still. Unfortunately, an alarm sounds, and several of the Ares suits approach and quickly dispatch the defending Leos. No.
Yeah, it is nice that they give us kind of a clear indication, like, the Ares are attacking and the Leos are defending. Those are the sides to watch for this fight.
Yeah, otherwise it would get a little confusing because those are the same side for me sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it really seems like the Alliance kind of only has Leos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Oz definitely has the higher end stuff.
Yeah. Like, and that also makes sense too, right? Because at this point, like, the Alliance doesn't have, like, the specials funding from Oz anymore. Like, the Alliance is just running on whatever they have now, and Oz can still keep making, like, new suits. So it's like, yeah, who would win, a Leo or a Leo that can fly?
Yeah, exactly. The Ares mobility is like far superior, but I don't think it has necessarily better firepower by any real
Yeah, I
means.
think it's like, because we see the Leo, Ares never get like the cool shoulder beam cannons that the Leos get, but like it doesn't really matter if you can like dodge everything and keep on shooting, We've
seen the Ares carrying throughout like what we've seen so far. We've seen two different weapons. One is like a rifle of some sort, and the other is this like very blocky missile launcher. But we haven't seen it with anything like really superior necessarily to what the Leos are capable of, because we've seen Leos with, like you said, the shoulder mounted cannons and the Dober guns even at this point, in like one or two fights, because I think that's how Hiro got shot down in a previous episode, is he gets blasted in the face by one.
So yeah, at this point we learn that Hiro and Tro are hiding out in Marseille, like they're here by now. Troa leaves to recover his Gundam because he's like, okay, if someone sees the Gundam here, things are going to get measurably worse very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And Hiro drives off in like a military truck to find Sylvia. Cut to Hiro almost fucking running Sylvia over in the street.
Oopsie.
And crashing the car in order to avoid hitting her.
God, this man throws this whole weight to the left, trying to not hit this small girl on the floor.
I don't know if they did it in the sub or not, but in the dub, he sees her and says her name out loud as he's crashing the car. So he's like, Sylvia Noventa!
Thanks,
oh my God.
Wheeling to the side. Also, I think it was just before this, but we do see Hiro and Troa got out of their vehicle and went to a crashed Ares, and I think they used that to listen into like the attacking forces before moving out. But yeah, then Hiro crashes the car dramatically.
Right. Then we cut to Troa, who's...
Oh, I was going to say, we see Troa kind of heading toward his hidden Gundam, but there is also a bunch of Leos who have been forced into the channels under the city, and they also find the heavy arms, and they, I think it's the commander of that group is like, oh, we need to protect this thing because it is the only thing that could stop this city, or save this city.
Yeah, they very quickly realize that, Troa, who they don't know it's Troa, obviously, but is their ally in this situation because, yeah, Oz will just kill them all. That's what we've seen at this point. And
yeah,
if Troa is here, he's certainly not going to be fighting with Oz.
Mm-hmm. And a couple Ares fly into the channels under the city and take out basically all of the Leos as they're defending heavy arms. And like right when the last Leo gets destroyed, I think we see a moment of heavy arms starting to move.
Yeah, right as everything kind of falls, he gets into heavy arms and returns the favor for the Ares and kills all those.
Like, the last thing we hear is the last living pilot's like, the rest is up to you, Gundam, as he gets fucking blown up.
God.
And yeah, as Troa is, just taking out 5 Ares at once, he's like, I don't want to get involved between Oz and the Alliance, but no one can know. And Oz is like freaking out that like, oh, we're losing a lot of units very quickly.
They see on like their radar all of their little like transponders turning off as each Ares gets annihilated, and they're like,
but, like,
what?
That's
what
kind of
possibly
that's kind of
doing
it for the
this?
battle. Weirdly enough,
yeah,
like all that happens, then it's just like, oh, by the way, fighting's over. It's like, oh, okay, all right, sure.
Yeah.
Because we're at the grave of Noventa in Marseille. Mm-hmm. This is and only now is when Troa finally learns, oh, this guy's name is Hiro. It's like,
he didn't know.
For how long have they been driving around Europe?
Yeah.
All of Europe. God.
Yeah, Sylvia has brought Hiro to her grandfather's grave. And this is where he does his kind of self-pitying thing, and he tells her that he is the one who killed her grandfather and hands her a gun to then kill him with, or hopefully to.
She takes the gun too.
Oh yeah.
She like starts to tear up. She gets angry, grabs the gun and aims it at him. But she doesn't fire. And Sylvia keeps calling Hiro a coward. And he says he's going to Sicily to see Noventa's wife, and to apologize to her as well. Yeah.
Troa is in the scene, but is definitely away from these two, and basically says, as the audience stand-ins, like, this is what he's doing. This is his attempt to make up for this. He's going to go to each and every family member, and whatever their punishment towards him would be, he will accept it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has an actual fucking list, and like, Sylvia asks him how he can be so cold and calculating about all of this, and Hira's like, well, that's kind of the only way I know how to live. Sorry.
Right.
It's like, I mean, it's cool to see, because this is absolutely, based on how we saw Hiro in the beginning of the show, this is not what I would have ever expected from him, right? Like, you wouldn't expect him to be the kind of guy who would have guilt and remorse over all of this, but like, the fact that out of all the characters, he's the one who's going around, I mean, the other characters aren't the ones who blew up that plane, but like...
And it has been months since that happened.
Yeah, he's still feeling bad about it. Like, say what you will about Hiro, but like, at least he kind of recognizes that he made a mistake.
Mm-hmm. And then we get kind of the last scene of the episode, which is Zex blowing up Unit 01 on a hillside. I really like how they have like the parts for this like reclined on this nice little hillside, and they blow it up, and one of I think Zex's little underling guys says that it's like a public spectacle for this inspector guy, who's Inspector Oct. But Inspector Oct like gets off the boat where they were watching this explosion from and gets onto his own boat, and they're driving away. And he's like, I'm suspicious that he would actually do this. Something must be up. Maybe? Because he doesn't, like, believe that Zex actually, did it. But we do, in fact, see, and I think we hear from Zex that it was basically a ploy, and that it was the spare parts of the Tall Geese repainted to look like Gundam 01. Yes. And they stashed the fully restored 01 underwater. It's really good.
It's really sick. Like, I mean, this is very much Zex's trick. This is very much the kind of shit he would do. And, like, yeah, it's, like, just all spare parts of the Tall Geese now. So it's a little more risky for him now. But, like, hey, good fucking idea, dude.
It's a pretty good ploy.
This is what you want. Like, if you want to fight them again, this is kind of what you got.
Yeah.
But also the fact that so far Gundanium still isn't detectable by, like, radar or, like, any other means right now. Stashing it directly under them, there was no way they were going to know. Yeah. It's really clever, and I like it.
Pretty damn smart. That's episode.
I've been working on this joke in my head for about, like, probably 5 minutes, so I'm just going to go ahead and halt the entire episode to say, do y'all think Lady Un is into CBT, Christian behaving Treize?
Well, this was a good last podcast.
It was nice talking to you. I'll see you in hell. I think this is my last episode of Wow Cool Robot.
Catch you on the flip side.
What a fun podcast we make.
I did say earlier today that I was just going to say a bunch of cursed shit, and it's happening.
And you were right.
Yeah, you know what? You didn't lie to us.
I'm just following through on a promise. It's what Hiro would have wanted me to do.
God.
Not a threat, just a fact.
Yeah. Next episode.
That would be episode 15. To the Battleground, Antarctica. Hiro finishes his attempt to make amends with the Noventa family. Troa and Hiro are being followed by a shady vehicle in the town around Sicily, basically. They make a very spectacular escape, but are found by Noin, who invites them to escape to Antarctica with her. That is where Zex is waiting. Relina gets a surprising amount of accurate information about the plot of the show, and learns that Hiro is still alive, all thanks to her butler. And she wants to see him again. Shocker. Noin's transport is followed by some mysterious figure that was chasing Hiro and Troa. It's intended to be believed it's the same person. Guess what? It's Inspector Oct. And Oct attacks while Noin tries to lead Oct and his pursuing crew away from Zex in Antarctica. In order to save Noin and prevent the reported Gundam sighting that happens during this fight, Troa enters the fray in heavy arms.
Yes. Inspector Doc Oct, yes.
Doc Oct.
Doc Oct.
Doc Oct.
Oh,
no. So we're in Sicily now.
Yeah.
Hiro and Troa's European apology tour has now ended successfully.
They're here to see Giorno Giovanna.
Mamma mia. Fucking.
So I think one of my favorite little moments between Troa and Hiro is that they've been traveling around Europe doing these amends, and Troa still thinks Hiro is fucking crazy for doing all of this. He just doesn't get it. They're like walking around the streets, and they're kind of just ambling around after their meeting with Mrs. Noventa, and they both realize they're being pursued by a very mysterious, very obvious, like, black car with tinted windows.
Yeah, not subtle whatsoever.
Yeah, and they basically, like, share a look, and I think Troa is like, I got this.
And does some really cool motorcycle stunts.
Yeah, so there's a fruit truck that passes between the, like, car that's following the boys and the boys, obviously. And when the truck goes away, it is revealed that somehow Troa found a motorcycle, and he is like directing himself toward this car, and Hiro's just gone.
Yeah, he fucking pieced out of there.
We do get a nice little, like, chase action sequence.
Yeah, it's like an actually solid chase scene, too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Troa, like, peels out and goes down an alley, and this car follows him. And it's a tight fit for the car, too. And he is basically leading it toward the water. And as they exit this alley, Troa's like, all right, I need to jump. He jumps off the motorcycle And then the motorcycle just like slams off the side of this like pathway out over into the water, and the car exits the alley and like slams into a light post, I think. Because I don't remember seeing
the
it.
car didn't go through the light post.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a very sturdy construction.
Yeah.
Very sturdy.
It was very bizarre that the car, like, the momentum just kind of stops. It's weird.
Yeah.
And we see that Troa landed very gracefully on a fucking, like, wash line, a clothesline.
I got really hyped
this
about
alley.
that, actually.
Yeah, he was in the circus. It makes sense.
Like, yeah, but it's also the most insane thing that you can do after jumping off a motorcycle while being pursued at high speed by a car with suspicious people in it behind you. So
That's Gundam.
Who could possibly say?
it's and then like, not only I'm sorry, I can't
You're
get
okay.
over it. Not only does he land on it, but he also just like turns and walks away, and we
Calmly
don't really
across
see
it,
where
yeah.
he goes.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, they just end up like in the hangar where the Gundam is stored now.
Yeah, and
It's
we do get a
fine.
brief shot where we see Hiro in the back of the fruit truck, and he's like, I've made my escape. Thanks, Troa. And then they're just
vibing.
together again. They're meeting up at
Yeah.
a specified point, I guess.
Yeah, right.
And they say like maybe 2 words to each other, and then knock knock, Noin's fucking here.
Yay! They're like, we gotta leave town, but like, we don't know how, and they also know we're here, and Noin's like, I can help with that. And like, they just whip out like fucking holding guns at her. She's just so calm.
Yeah, it's a fun little animation of, I think it was Hiro that had an apple, and he drops it and like
Yes.
pulls out a weapon. And
It's
they,
good. Like, Noin
they
picks the
even
apple
like
up. It's
focus
cute.
randomly on the apple hitting the ground. It's just
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And then, Noin picks it up, which is also some likely symbolism somewhere that I don't understand because my brain is too
it's
smooth.
that's actually where Stephanie Meyer got the inspiration for the cover of the Twilight books.
It all makes sense now. Noin arriving, though, does have, as my alarm goes off, don't worry about it, arrives, and her goal here is basically to tell the boys that Zex wants to duel Hero again.
Yeah, he wants a rematch.
Yeah, and she's willing and offering to help get them to Antarctica for this duel. And since we don't currently have Wing, Troa offers Hero the use of heavy arms for this fight.
Yeah.
It's very nice of him to do so. I guess like Troa is still sort of like not sure what his next step should be. So he's like, might as well let the kid use my Gundam. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't think he has any plans that he would actually need it right now. And obviously he's seen Hero pilot before, and it's the same fucking machine.
Yeah, and then I think we cut away from this for some quality time with Relina, who
Yes.
she's just forcing her butler to fucking Google stuff for her, and
It's really good.
so they get some information, and somehow Relina does in fact know that Zex shipped in Gundanium for the purpose of rebuilding Hero's Gundam. And the butler's
why
just
is
like,
that
yeah,
on
that's
open source intel? Like, what the fuck?
yeah. And the butler's just like, yeah, like everyone knows that, obviously. And the butler's like, yeah, they also blew up like 01, but that was probably fake, right? And they're both just nodding and they're like reading the script.
He mentions that, like, Zex shipped enough Gundanium to build 2 suits, and he's like, it must have been a decoy. It's like, if fucking a random butler can Google that, you think that the fucking Romefeller intel guys aren't going to figure that out in 2 seconds?
He is the Jeeves that people ask.
Damn. We found him. We asked Jeeves.
This is the most technologically literate butler in anything I think I've ever seen.
I like him.
It's fucking wild. The amount of knowledge that he seeks out and immediately finds and then relays to his rich brat, spoiled girl, like patron.
Yeah.
He does show us after this, though, that he's been around with the family for a hot minute.
And he has met
because,
Zex.
Yeah, we have a flashback where he was fencing with Zex as a child, and how Zex kind of broke his rapier during the duel, and instead of scoring the point, Zex sprints off the field, grabs another one, and like shoves it into his hand, showing that he can't stand to fight when an enemy has a disadvantage.
Yeah,
it's not a fair fight
really,
anymore,
really
what's the
good
point?
moment. Yeah. This is also the
I also like
second
Baby
time
Zex.
we've seen someone break, like, a
Yeah.
fencing sword.
Yeah, exactly.
What do they make
That's
these
definitely
things
worth
out
mentioning.
of?
Like, Zex broke it and Hero broke it, and destined pilots fated to duel each other.
I wonder if it means anything.
I wonder if it means anything that the two sort of main protagonists and, I guess, antagonists are meant to have a fated rapier duel.
Yeah.
We're watching Gundam!
The butler gets, like, a bunch more expository information. We see Zex briefly getting ready for the fight in Antarctica. I don't remember if they say anything really important during this. I don't think they did.
Let me look.
Because then we get the next little moment with Treize, which is also insane.
Oh, this is the... Jeez, I just fucking... Okay. This is one of the most insane things I've ever seen. This, like, cemented Treize as, like, one of my favorite...
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Treize is walking through his property. He's talking to himself. He's, like, going through... He's like, Zex blew up a fake Gundam. So he, like, kind of figures it out, and he's, like, wondering what to do as he's, like, again, talking to himself, wondering all this aloud. And he looks over, and he sees a woman... and an old woman and a baby. I don't know who the fuck these people are. It doesn't matter. This isn't. These people are basically just a fucking living metaphor. I guess maybe who knows?
Oh, they absolutely are. They serve no purpose past that.
They're not real. They're fucking like illusions because Zex is like high right now, I guess, because the baby, they're on a dock on a lake and the baby's chasing a butterfly, and baby's looking up, baby's not looking down, baby's not looking where he's going, and he almost falls off the fucking dock, and the mother looks over, he's like, oh fuck, my kid's gonna drown, and Treize sticks his arm out and he's like, no. And he doesn't say anything, but he just sticks his arm out and he's like so confident and calm, and the kid eventually turns around and sees the mom and goes back and she's in tears and she runs back over. What the fuck was this scene?
Also, very importantly, the child crawled to the end of the dock and stood up and walked back to his mother.
That's
Forgot
growth,
the
baby.
baby's first steps.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
And so the mother goes from, like, crying about how her baby almost just drowned because she was being inattentive and talking to her friends to, like, crying about how her baby took their first steps. But, I wonder if it means anything. It's like the swan in 0079. I wonder if it has any significance.
It's like, I know just by seeing this that this is the most important single scene in the entire series of Wing. I can't tell you what it means, though. I don't know why it's important. I just know that it is.
It's
and you
so
never will.
very much just a symbolization of Treize's like trust in Zex right now, because he is mumbling to himself, being like, would he betray me? Would he be doing these things that the investigator said? And then he has this moment where, no, of course not. Zex will always come back to me.
Right, yeah. What we're trying to say here, folks, is that Treize is mommy and Zex is baby.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Whoa, we cracked it. Yay.
Cutting edge Gundam content
I think
here.
Specifically, the last line Treize really thinks before we move on is that Zex would never do anything to cause me trouble.
Yeah, like buddy. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't believe... Treize, have you seen Gundam? You know what the Shark clones famously do?
Cause trouble.
Cross trouble, betrayal, that kind of shit?
No, but it's okay because he's not the Garma, insert. That's
True.
no.
Okay, yeah, true. Oh,
Literally production-wise, I'm not trying to foreshadow
believe it.
anything here. That's just
Tremendous.
they made Garma a girl, and we're like, yeah, this is a character now.
I like her. I like Noin. Noin fucking rules.
Noin whips, yeah, absolutely.
It's so funny that Garma was in, I think 5 episodes of Gundam.
Yeah, he's in 4 or 5 episodes.
God, so fucking
Rest in
funny.
peace, Garma Zabi. Gone too fucking soon.
Garma balls. Anyway, we cut over to Sicily. Oct and his dudes, they're spying on the heavy arms that's being transported out by Noin. He's already super aware of Noin's plan to smuggle the Gundam out of Sicily. I almost said the island. Sicily's not an island.
Yeah, so that's the thing is
Wait, hold on. Is Sicily an island?
I think it is.
Yeah.
What was I thinking of?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, Sicily super duper was an island, huh?
I think
Yeah.
you were
What
thinking
the
of
fuck
Italy proper, baby.
No, I know Italy's not. I know
That's a boot,
Okay, Julie,
Max.
I know Italy's
That's
not
a
an island.
boot.
It's a boot. That's the whole boot. Okay, yeah, Sicily's the soccer ball with the boots kicking. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not going to edit this out. The world needs to know my shame.
That's fine.
They're leaving the island of Sicily.
Yeah. And
you just like white out and hard dub it over.
So Oct spying on them is very interesting because Troa lost their asses. Like for sure they did not follow them, which leads me to believe they followed Noin. So like these two kids realized they were being trailed and Noin had no fucking idea that she led these assholes right to them.
Unfortunately, that kind of checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it makes me laugh.
Yeah. It's cute.
And then we get, as the heavy arms is loaded on and everything, we get a moment of Hiro learning to kind of control the heavy arms. And there's this really nice moment, nice, I guess, this well done moment of Hiro like pulling on the left arm's control stick and struggling with it because he has an injured arm, and he asks Troa, like what's the deal with this? And Troa said, I intentionally didn't compensate for the additional weight of the Gatling gun so that I would have a speed advantage after I dropped it in combat. And Hiro's like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do that too. That's actually metal as fuck.
Yeah.
Noin's just like staring down from behind the actual cockpit of this transport, being like, these kids sure are fucking freaks, huh? And like one of her subordinates comes up to her and is like, hey, so those are the Gundam pilots. We could just like just kill them right now, right? Noin gets so fucking mad.
Yes. She just slowly turns and says, Zex would never forgive you.
Mm-hmm. And then there's also this little moment of like while Hiro is like learning, to control the heavy arms and everything. I think they're both like away from the cockpit at this point, and he's talking to Troa, and he's like, "Listen, I understand you don't want anyone like rooting around in the guts of your Gundam, so like, thank you, basically." And Troa's like, "No, you would probably do the same for me. Like we're kind of in the same boat, so."
No, he fucking wouldn't.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, he fucking wouldn't.
But it is a moment of Hiro being like, I understand like the mission you were assigned and how like basically sacred it is for you to be the only person to have access to the cockpit of the heavy arms. So like, thank you.
You constructed intricate rituals to allow other men inside your cockpit.
Yeah.
Seems kind of gay.
I mean, it is called a cockpit. So
Jesus Christ.
I remember watching Airplane.
God.
Relina is now eating dinner in somewhere. Who knows? She gets a letter from Noventa. It's a letter for Hiro, and Noventa wants. This is Nana Noventa, and she wants Relina to visit him herself and give it to her, or give it to him. And she's just like, "Fuck that! I'm gonna read this letter right now." This is so fucking funny because the entire letter is just like this old lady saying, what a polite young man you are. I don't care that you killed my husband. The future's yours. Go off, king."
Yeah, it is the most like, how could you possibly say that? Like, how could you be that understanding? It is genuinely baffling. It
really is. It's very, the first time I watched this episode, and I realized this again, rewatching it, it feels like something somebody would write themselves.
Yeah.
To, like, not have to deal with the things that they've done.
Yeah. Like, exactly. It's almost very, like Hiro wrote it to, like, get away with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also the moment where, like, Relina finds out, like, for sure Hiro's still alive, because she's like, oh, Mrs. Noventa, grandma, like, well, no, that's not her grandma. Sorry. I'm thinking of, what's his name from the Moscow shit. Anyways.
Oh.
It is entirely not important. I just got people mixed up a little bit. But yeah.
Why does she call Hiro her dear friend?
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? And this is, like I was trying to say, Relina's like, oh, Hiro actually met with her, which means he's alive. So, like, the first time in over a month that Relina's finding out for sure that her suspicion that Hiro is alive is actually true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she's like really, really, really fucking happy. She wants to leave for Sicily right away.
She's going the wrong fucking direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, they I mean, she's going to pick up the breadcrumb trail eventually. She'll probably end up in fucking Antarctica somehow.
Yeah, sure. It definitely won't be extremely... Never mind. Relina does Relina ass shit. That's all I'll say.
Tremendous. We're back on the Oz carrier. Hiro and Troa are enjoying a nice cuppa as Noin gives them their cold weather gear, which is like a green hoodie and like a white jacket over top. Pretty nice.
Yeah. Troa's drinking more Java.
Yeah, Hiro's bleeding through the bandage on his arm. He's injured. He shouldn't be piloting a mobile suit. He's injured.
Mm-hmm. And then we get...
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm just... If he's still bleeding through his bandages, what the fuck happened? I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't be asking what the fuck happened to him. He basically died.
Yeah. It might be a matter of there was like a large piece of shrapnel that like actually like created a very large open wound, and even with the limited capabilities that Troa probably had in a trailer in, you know, like this ragtag group of carnies, he wasn't really able to like stitch it or keep it closed because it was so big. Something along those lines.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
I don't know. Hiro fell down the side of a cliff and was fine, so who really knows?
Yeah.
Kid ain't right.
No.
He's hurt for plot. It's fine.
Yeah, right, honestly.
Yeah, it's plot armor, but in the other direction. Like, he needs to be hurt right now.
it's a plot wound.
Plot wound. Then we get to the base in Antarctica, and we find out that the 01 wouldn't actually be fully ready if they tried to fix it up and use both the Buster Rifle and the Beam Saber. So Zex kind of makes the executive decision to just get it ready. The controls actually would need to be calibrated for both things. So he's like, okay, instead of reinforcing the arm that would fire the Buster Rifle, focus on making the controls as like tip-top shape they could possibly be so that it can do beam saber combat, and I'll 1v1 Hero in the streets, swords only.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be sick as hell, I bet.
Yeah, to the point of saying just take the parts off the tall geese, which is bonkers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is very much smacking to me of Char's counterattack, of Char like wanting to fight Amuro on such an even field, like at his own detriment.
That he like even like leaks the psycho frame. Yeah.
Yeah. God, what a fucking... I'm not going to get mad about the movie. It's not worth it anymore. Yeah,
it's fine.
So they learn to go into Antarctica by now.
Noin finds out she's being followed.
Yes, that's right. She orders two of...
Yeah, they actually enact a plan. Noin is basically like, all right, what's like, you know, give me a sit rep. They find out that there is another carrier, I think, following them, and it seems to be gaining. And so Noin's like, we need to shed some weight, drop 2 Ares. I'll go in 1 and we will fight off for pursuers. So that way, like with the 2 Ares off board, their carrier will actually be able to outspeed the one following them. Noin's plan is basically to distract them, try to lead them one way possibly, or just entirely shoot them out of the sky, so that the actual Oz carrier can get to Zex in Antarctica without the others seeing where it went. Pretty good trick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Noin actually...
trick.
Yeah. Noin kind of goes like actual sicko mode and takes out a lot of these like motherfuckers that are following them. But they have a lot of backup troops.
Yeah.
And they were upsettingly prepared for this one.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Oct wants them all fucking dead to rights.
Yeah.
Right. And Noin and her like secondary pilot in the other Ares are I think they were trying to stay low, take cover in the clouds, and then pop out and surprise this other group. And the other guy wanted to like do a flyby or something. He wanted to get really aggressive, and Noin was like, no, don't do that. That's stupid. It ended up being stupid, and he gets shot down. And in an effort to rescue this guy, Noin flies down after him, and the two of them end up on the ground in their Ares, just fully surrounded.
Yes. At this point, like at some point, you know, Noin just has to surrender. Like,
yeah,
there's nothing she can do here. Because she just wants to, you know, prioritizing sparing her soldier's life over anything else.
Yep.
And like in this conversation, the Romefeller suits learn that Zex is nearby. Before they can kind of go off and act on that, they're like, all right, thanks for telling me Zex is here. Goodbye. The craft flies low and like starts lasering the Leos. It's really cool.
The like one remaining pilot on the Oz carrier turned it around, and the lasers on board this thing like fully melt through a Leo.
Yeah,
it's super good to see. It is technology and weaponry we haven't really seen yet. And it's fun to watch a Gundam suit. Well, not a Gundam, but it's fun to watch a mobile suit just get like melted.
I know.
Especially for as cold as it is outside too. Think about that. After Noin surrenders too, I think there's a line where Oct basically says he doesn't care, and he like wants the Gundam that Zex rebuilt, and his plan is to like annihilate Noin and then like basically get on Zex's case as well. And then
it's funny. It's like it's kind of reminding me of like 2 episodes ago. Funny how that works.
And then Troa does. I think this is the second time he's jumped, or no, maybe the third time he's jumped out of an air carrier in the heavy arms.
3 actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
God. This fucking kid.
He pulls up and he starts blasting. He's just dropping troops left and right. And he knows his mission assigned to him is he needs to kill anyone who has seen a Gundam, and
leave no witnesses.
And he's like, okay, I need to get rid of all of these people before they can send out a report. We do get because his goal is to not let Oz or the Alliance like use the Gundams as a reason to attack the colonies. Obviously, that's his main mission. But we do get a moment where I think it's Noin. I'm pretty sure it's Noin who realizes that someone is actually sending out a broadcast, and we hear a new type flash sound.
They gotta stop playing this shit. It's gonna drive me insane.
It's so... They know it's important. Why do they keep using this sound effect?
Yeah, I think
fucking stop it.
I think they're trying to use it to highlight like really important in the moment like realizations.
Make a new sound.
That's not what it means. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just use that. I can't just use like a lightsaber turning on noise willy-nilly. That means something.
Yeah.
But the Ares is already like fully radioed.
Yeah,
like,
he does manage to send out a broadcast, and Troa is like slowly walking up, about to down smash this motherfucker, and Noin tells Troa to stop, and he does a fucking G Gundam style finisher, a can opener.
Barrel rolls, Beyblade ass spin.
It's so good.
This dude tears it apart.
It's so fucking funny. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be like, wow, cool robot. But this is the funniest bit of animation we have seen since the Wing Gundam crashed into the ground.
It's just like
silly.
How does this robot corkscrew like this?
It's silly.
It's so fucking funny. And then after like this attack, the heavy arms kind of stands back up and then like kind of like tumbles over and falls over, and the cockpit opens and Troa like falls out of his cockpit. He does land.
He has carpal tunnel now.
Yeah, he does land on his feet, but he like almost immediately falls over after landing on his feet.
Noin's just watching. He's like, Jesus fucking Christ!
These goddamn boys.
Yeah,
these stupid kids are too pure. And, like, all he does is just, like, he just tells Noin his name. He's like, can you reload the Gundam, please? And she's like, you're gonna die, dude. Don't do this shit. And as she's yelling at Troa for being a dumb idiot, Hero's just walking away from the shuttle.
Yeah.
Put a leash on this kid.
Where you going, buddy?
He doesn't know.
Dude.
He's unsupervised.
You're in Antarctica, man. You're gonna get hypothermia, dude.
Yeah.
Come back, Hero.
God.
And that's episode.
That is the final episode for this set.
Insane.
The fucking can opener attack is so goddamn
so
funny.
It's goofy as hell. Do we have a Beyond Toon World today?
I think we can do that.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
You're going to love this. Trust me. Beyond Toon World!
So, we have Brad Swale, the dubbed voice actor for one Katra Robina winner.
Rababa.
Quattro.
Our good friend Katra the cat. There are some frankly bonkers roles in this Sweet Boy's past.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just go ahead and give me a guess where this friend started?
Wasn't he Amuro?
That is- we've discussed this, and I would like to talk about it.
Okay.
He was Katra first.
Yeah, in a weird twist of fate, because of how things were localized, he was Katra a year before he was ever Amuro.
Yeah, because Gundam Wing came out in 2000, and
right.
Gundam 0079 started being dubbed in 2001.
Yep.
God.
Or released in 2001.
Yeah.
Not necessarily dubbed, but yeah, he was Katra first.
Good lord.
If I had to guess,
what has this fool done?
If I had to guess where he started, I want to say, okay, here's my first question: was it a cartoon or was it an anime?
Cartoon.
Okay, was he on? Oh God. I had something and I entirely lost it. Was he on something crazy like Ren and Stimpy?
So his start is in the 1992 My Little Pony Tales.
Oh my God!
And you gotta start somewhere. I get it. And then we have,
I guess.
And then we have 3 years of Ranma 1/2. So you know what?
Oh,
okay.
Who did he
Friend
play?
after my own heart. We have Kimba the Lion as young Kimba.
You're kidding.
What? Good lord.
We do have Son Gohan.
Oh,
Yo.
wait. Was it? Okay, he's fucking okay.
Older,
Whatever. He's
older,
Amuro. He's Gohan.
Yeah, he's older Son Gohan and Z.
Okay.
Okay, so that would have been like the Boo saga then. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yep.
Okay, all right. That makes more sense.
And then, of course, 4 years later, we have Katra here.
Yay.
As well as playing Nightcrawler in X-Men Evolutions.
Let's go.
Kurt Wagner?
Yep.
Oh, the little blue guy.
That little blue guy. And then we have our good friend Amura in many different releases, it looks like.
Oh yeah, once he landed Amuro,
Amuro, they can't fucking
Can't
get
get rid
enough
of
of
this
that guy.
good for him. He found a character to constantly be.
Yeah.
He was in Gundam Seed actually as well.
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
Who did he voice?
Dirka.
Okay.
I am not familiar with Seed, unfortunately.
I'm passingly familiar. I'm still watching through it, but obviously I've had to set it aside for this.
There is another fairly large big name character here. In 2007, Brad Swale was one Light Yagami.
Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Oh my God. That coincides way too well with what's been going on with my life, where my partner Lindsay has been listening to the English version of the Death Note musical.
Oh God.
Good God.
Light Yagami is played by Jeremy Jordan, who is in a million other things, but the last 5 years in, I think, Newsies. So, good God.
There's a
Jeez.
couple years of nothing super interesting here, or at least nothing that I'm super familiar with since then. Though he does voice 2 characters in the hit Nintendo gacha game, Dragalia Lost. That
There it is.
I am more familiar with than I care to admit.
We all have our vices.
Yeah, mine's gacha waifus, goddammit. We can all only be so strong. But yeah,
That's
he's a fun
hell
friend.
yeah.
Very nice.
Good for you, Brad.
I'm glad that
I
he
pulled
was,
up his page.
I'm glad that he was in 1 or 2 other series with other Ocean Group actors. Oh boy, I think Kirby Morrow and Scott. No, not Scott McNeil. Brian Drummond were both in X-Men Evolutions as well.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, I like when voice actors do work with a consistent group of people across stuff. I always think it's very funny. It's just
it builds chemistry, you know.
yeah, absolutely. It's anytime you hear like 2 or 3 members of Critical Role in a thing, like fucking near
Oh yeah,
replicant.
you just like you point at them and like, I know you.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear Travis Wilhelm and I'm like, all right, where's Marisha Ray? Like, she's hiding around the fucking corner somewhere.
It's like Laura Bailey's in this somewhere, I know it.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, okay, this is...
I'm noticed.
This is just a total aside, but one of my favorite, like, weird connections that all of the... Well, not all of, but a large portion of the Critical Role people have is they were part of a harem anime called Deers. That came out in the late 90s, but it's like Sam Rigel, Laura Bailey, Matt Mercer, like they were all in it. It's absolutely wild.
And like that's why they became friends, is because they were all coworkers. That's why they started that first home game with Matt.
Yeah,
I think it was specifically, I think the home game was for Liam's birthday. It was Talison's birthday. One of their birthdays, they asked for a home game, and that's kind of where Crit Roll all kind of spun out of.
And it's all because they were voice actors on a harem anime.
I think content is bad.
And then stop making it, coward.
I'm noticing Brad Swale was fucking Setsuna from Gundam 00. That's like the main boy, I think.
Yes. Okay, there was a piece of me that knew he was another Gundam pilot. He is, in fact, Setsuna F fucking Seiye, the boy himself who can't say anything other than, I am a Gundam.
That's a normal thing to say.
He's fine. Setsuna's fine. He's fucking normal, and I love him. And he's also with Ian Scott, who's the voice of Inuyasha, who plays, as I've already mentioned at least once on this show, Alleluia Haptism.
That's a normal name.
00 has, I wouldn't even say they're the most like Gundam names, because Gundam names are just like wacky ass shit. But when you've got stuff,
was also a voice actor on Inuyasha as well.
Oh fuck yes, who was he?
Nobuanga.
Okay, very nice.
Just all over the place in these
God,
never ends.
Anyways, I'm gonna shut up before I go on a rant about Gundam 00 names, because you just bring Stabity. I'm just gonna leave it there. I bring it up every time because you have to. Their name is Bring Stabity.
Oh wait, that's actually
cool.
Their name?
That's actually their name.
That's fun.
Like
that's like on the level.
There are some normal
of
names.
The fucking Death Sticks dealer in Star Wars episode 2 being named Elon Sleaze Bogano.
Yeah, and like Salacious Crumb.
Don't talk shit about Salacious Crumb. He's a delightful.
No, I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just saying it's a wild ass name.
Revive. Shut the fuck up. Okay.
And Kit Fisto and Glup Shitto and all of our other friends.
Don't Kit Fisto.
I'm done.
We need to do plugs now.
Get me off this wild ride.
I'll go first. My name is Jared or Jay. If you like any of the funny stuff I've said, check out the Plaster Creek.
Who could after all this?
Yeah, well, I understand. I say a lot of horrendous shit, and, I'm just hoping people laugh at it. Anyways, if I say dumb stuff that makes you laugh, please check out the Plaster Creek Radio Archives. These Messages, episode 0. It is up on YouTube. If you can't find it, message me on Discord or find me on Twitter and tweet at me. Both of those places, you can find me at Pagliacci Proto J. I don't have another podcast. These Messages is a side project I'm working on with a bunch of friends. It's just a comedy writing outlet. The episode 0 is only like 15 minutes. It's a bunch of like advertisements for businesses that definitely should not exist. And if you need a voice actor, I'm available. I'm going to make a Fiverr account soon. I swear to God.
You should.
And you can plug that too.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I've been Julia. You can find me realistically only on Twitter at The Crown Jewels with 2 underscores. That's JULES. Or if you want to come hang out, we do have a Discord for the podcast at the Wow Cool Discord. That is linked, I think, with every episode as well as on the Twitter itself.
This is true. And I've been Max. You can find me on Twitter at MaxyBajillion. In addition to this show, there's a show called Pot of Greed, the world's number one and only Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast, sponsored by Kaiba Corp, and also the 56th highest ranked Apple Podcast comedy podcast in Vietnam.
Hell
yeah.
God damn it, that's so good.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's down from 40. We used to be the 40th ranked one. Anyway, we're gonna if we get number 1 in Vietnam, we're gonna do a big celebration. Not a bit. This is all true, by the way.
Yeah.
That's on Twitter.
I'm fact checking right now. He's telling the truth.
Broadcast. And you can also listen to Slappers Only, a video game music showdown podcast that I do with my friend Jordan. That's at Slappers Only. God, I'm talking too fast. That's at slappersonlypod.com or slappersonlypod on Twitter. Next up for that is Squid Game, aka Splatoon 2. It's gonna be a fun time. Woomy.
The better Squid Game.
Woomy. And
Speaking of Woomy, Splatoon 3 looks incredible. I can't wait for it to happen. Thanks.
Yeah,
looks pretty good.
It looks so
Everything
fun.
that they showed makes me very happy, and I'm excited because it is the only shoot 'em up I can get my spouse to play, and it is exciting.
It's the best thing Nintendo has announced recently.
It's really good.
Excuse me. You take that back right now.
Anyways, join our Discord by
Fucking
going
Julia,
to
quick, Julia, quick. Robot of the week, quick.
Fuck.
Robot of the week. We gotta end this.
I don't remember what this segment was.
Just tell me, robot, and we'll all agree and say yes.
Craig, the reporting robot.
Oh, yeah.
We should publicly thank Craig because he does very important and invaluable work here.
Thank
Got
you,
it in one.
Craig.
Here at Podcast Productions.
Also, I'm like 99% sure I said reporting robot instead of recording robot, but you know what? What's done is done.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's cast out to the ether. And as we always say before we get into a fucking argument, war is bad.
Wow.
Cool robot.
See you next week. Don't freeze, wandering Antarctica hero. Put a coat on.
Catch
He
you next
already
time,
has
gold.
team.
one. God. Bye.
Put another one. Bye.
Remember, kids, that's ladyun.cbt to join our Discord.